Emerson College shows more bad news for President Biden and more good news for Donald Trump. Emerson usually releases about one poll every month or so, and they go over kind of new developments and usually the top swing states and nationally overall. So I'll be going over this poll, which was conducted between July 15th and 16th by Emerson College Polling, and was sponsored by Democrats for Next Generation, and it finds President Trump leading Biden in 7 swing states and in a national poll. In the national poll, 46% of registered voters support Donald Trump, and 42% support Biden, a margin of 4% in favor of Donald Trump, with 12% of people undecided. There has been a 2-point drop in Biden's support since the earlier month, where he received 44% and Trump received 46%. So according to their poll, Trump's support has not wavered, but Biden's support has gone down by 2. And Spencer Kimball, the executive director of Emerson Polling, said, "Recent polls show Biden losing support more significantly than Trump gaining it since the attempted assassination. This raises questions about whether Biden's decline is still influenced by the debate or if Trump has reached his support ceiling." And this is very interesting insight because that could be why so many Democrats are kind of jumping at the opportunity to try to replace Biden, is maybe Democratic insiders see that this race is still very close and can be won with a Democrat other than Biden. That could be a potential thing they're considering. And there's also head-to-head results of Trump versus Biden in several key states. Before I get to that, they have third-party candidates on the same ballot. And in Arizona, Trump defeats Biden 46-36, and then other third-party candidates get about 8%. Georgia, 44-39 for Trump, where other candidates gets 9%. Michigan, Trump gets 43, Biden gets 40, and other candidates get 8.3. Nevada, Trump's got 43, Biden's got 40, other candidates have 9. North Carolina, 47 for Trump, 38 for Biden, and other candidates 8.7. Pennsylvania, Trump is 46, Biden is 40, and other candidates about 6.3. Wisconsin, Trump's got 46, Biden's got 43, other candidates 6.5. And nationally, lastly, Trump's got 44, Biden's got 38, and other candidates have 8.4. So, what's happening here? For one, a lot of these polls, some of them are close, some of them are not. For instance, Wisconsin only being 3 points. Honestly, for Biden, that may be the best thing you can take away from this poll. But North Carolina, 9 points up for Trump in a 3-way race. I think Biden, Democrats know that state is completely out of reach for them. Nevada being close could be a potential good sign for Democrats, but Michigan being close is definitely the best sign for Democrats and for Biden. Pennsylvania, 6 points. Wisconsin, 3 points. Michigan, 3 points is the only silver lining for the Democrats in this poll, that they're technically within the margin of error. So now on to the more entertaining part, which is the states themselves. Arizona. So in this poll, Trump's at 47% in Arizona, Biden's at 40%. And I like this because it shows how things have changed a little bit over time. On June 30th to July 2nd, this is following the Trump versus Biden debate, Trump had 46%, Biden had 42%. So Biden's support since that poll has gone down after also having 42% back in March. Trump has actually gone up by 1% in both polls. So even though the one thing I can say that critiques Trump's performance in polling is that oftentimes he's not above 50% of the vote, and that could potentially spell that there are some undecided votes that maybe turn up for Trump or turn up to Biden. We have to wait and see till Election Day. But there is enough undecided votes for both candidates to win, both Trump and whoever the Democrat is. However, Biden's popularity has seemed to have fallen so much that not only is he losing to Trump in these polls now, he's at 40% in Arizona, a state that Biden won last time by only a few thousand votes. If Trump's at 47 to start off with and Biden's at 40, I mean, the numbers tell you alone, to reach 50, Trump needs 3, Biden needs 10. I mean, guess which candidate you'd rather be if you're trying to reach 50%. You'd be the one who wants to be closer. So Trump at least starts off with a higher floor and less room to get to that 50% threshold. Biden, however, all the momentum is going against him. Trump, it's only a 1% gain from the last poll and 2 points from the previous poll, but at very least, Trump is gaining in the right direction, at least in Arizona. So Arizona, at very least 7 points, Trump is moving in the right direction, and it looks like he's poised to potentially flip that state if Biden and the Democrats can't turn things around. Georgia's not too dissimilar. Georgia has 47% for Trump. Biden's got 41%. So another instance of Trump not getting 50% of the vote, but Trump definitely starts off with an early lead, which in a state like Georgia, given its past historical Republican trends, that definitely benefits him. And Trump's support has stayed the same from the poll following the debate, where Trump got 47%, and Biden at 41% has gone down 1 percentage point. I think we're going to see this a lot across many of the previous polls. Georgia, kind of in the same boat as Arizona. I think both of these states are going to be probably closer in the polls suggest, but I think both of them will end up going for Trump, at least as of right now, especially if the election ends up being Trump versus Biden. I can't really say if it's going to be Trump versus Harris or another Democrat, if things will remain exactly the same, because that's a curveball and that's a completely different election than Trump versus Biden. It's just there's too many factors to consider for that. Right now, this is just Trump versus Biden. Michigan, however, things are a different story. Here, Trump is up 45% to 42%. The good news for Trump is that Biden went down 2% in support here, which gives him a better edge. In the previous polls, Trump was up 45 to 44, a 1-point gain, and 46 to 44, a 2-point gain back in March. Now he's up by 3%, 45-42, with 13% undecided. Michigan is undoubtedly, I've been saying for a while, I think Michigan will be the closest state in the presidential election. I think it's going to come absolutely down to the wire. I think it's going to be decided by under 1 percentage point. I still would narrowly give it to Trump, but you can see Michigan definitely has the makings, at least in this poll, that it is going to be a super, super close state. We're going to have to watch probably to like 1 or 2 a.m. on Michigan to find out who wins this state, because given everything happening with Biden and everything happening with Trump, the fact that it's still this close, only a 3-point margin, which again could be within the state's margin of error in the poll, shows this race is a dead heat, and Michigan's definitely one to watch. In North Carolina, Trump is up 48% to 41% over Biden. This is up from March, where Trump had 47, Biden had 45. Biden's support here is absolutely plummeted in North Carolina, and I don't expect this state to even be a chance at going for Biden. I think Trump has this state. Only question is how much he wins it by, but I think somewhere in like the 5 to 6% range is probably about right. And Trump gets 48% to start off, Biden 41, but I think North Carolina is going for Trump. Nevada, very, very interesting. Biden goes from 42% to 41%. Not too much of a difference here. Trump stays around that 45 to 46, 47% range over the last 3 polls. If you average them out, Trump's probably around like 46% or so, 45.5%. Biden's around that 41, 42%. Nevada's always tough because there's always like a bunch of undecided vote in its polls. And typically that usually ends up breaking for the Democrats. But I think given this election cycle and how Trump's been performing nationwide and how he's actually been performing in Nevada, I do think right now Trump is narrowly favored to win Nevada. It's not going to be by a big margin. He'll probably win Nevada by like less than 2 percentage points. But I do think Trump, at very least right now, is favored to eke out a victory in Nevada. And now, no disrespect to some of the other states, but we have Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, 2 states that, like Michigan, I think will literally decide who the president of the United States is. My prior videos, if you've seen those, you know I've said that a few times. Pennsylvania, Trump has 48%, Biden has 43%, with 10% undecided. So the good news and the bad news. The good news is for Trump, obviously he's up by 5 points. He's at 48%. That's very good. The bad news is Trump has not gotten above 48% in Pennsylvania in 2016 or 2020. I think for Trump to feel comfortable that he's for sure winning Pennsylvania, he needs to be near 49% or 50% of the vote. Pennsylvania is so absolutely crucial to Trump's pathway to victory, and Biden's as well. But Trump, I think, needs to win at a bare minimum one of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And technically, as I'll be getting to, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are both tied in the way that they're both Trump plus 5. Michigan is only Trump plus 3. But Trump cannot win the election, in my view, without winning one of Wisconsin or Pennsylvania. And if he wins Pennsylvania, it makes things a lot easier for him, because then he can win with only winning another state like Georgia and holding all the states from 2020. But Pennsylvania plus 5, definitely good news for Trump. The bad news for Trump is that there's still a lot of undecided vote. So how does that undecided vote go? That's the question. But again, like in a lot of the other states, you'd rather be at the 48 than the 43. So good news for Trump, but that 10% is definitely something to keep an eye on. Pennsylvania is going to go down to the wire as well. but definitely good news for Trump in Pennsylvania. Wisconsin, similar to Pennsylvania, 48-43 for Trump over Biden, 9% undecided. Again, this is very good news for Trump. He's not above 50%, which does raise some caution, but the fact that he's so close is at 48%, Biden's at 43%. Again, which one would you rather be? If you're trying to get to 50, would you rather be Trump or Biden? Trump starts off higher. Trump may not get as much undecided votes. Maybe some of these undecided votes voted Democrat last time or voted for Biden in 2020. Maybe they do this time. Maybe they don't. Maybe they vote for Trump. Maybe they stay home. We're not going to know until the election. But, I mean, overall, looking at all these state polls, it's obvious you'd rather be Trump than Biden. Trump is performing better than Biden in all the polls. And I think there's a reason why Democrats are saying that they need to consider dropping Joe Biden for Kamala Harris or another Democrat. Because you look at all these polls, and this is not just this one. This isn't a lot of polls. Biden is pretty much getting beaten in every single swing state. And, I mean, it's not impossible that Biden could turn it around, but it's definitely seeming like the clock is ticking, and it's not going to be super likely that he can, at least at this point in time. Trump is definitely in a better position to win right now, and if the election were today, I think Trump would win in a landslide. Which is why I think Democrats are getting very nervous and very, anxious about having Biden be the potential nominee and are exploring going with someone else. And interesting, just to wrap up the poll, there's a few other questions they asked. Should Biden withdraw from the race? 52% nationally think he should, 48% think he should not. They also asked, should former President Trump withdraw? 56% said he should not, 44% think he should. Interesting numbers, not really too much to take away from there that we didn't already know. Nationally, people think overall Biden should drop out. And we're going to see the breakdown of this, where 64% of Democratic voters think Biden should not withdraw, while 36% thinks he should. And 64% of Republican primaries think he should withdraw, 36% think he should not. This is actually interesting to me because I'm not surprised one bit a majority of Democratic voters don't want Biden to drop out. I mean, it's obvious usually your own party is going to support you, but I'm more surprised at the 64% of Republican voters who think he should withdraw and 36% who don't. I think I'm going to guess 36% of Republicans who don't want Biden to drop out think that in this current situation they're going to beat Biden, so they don't want to risk it and just have Biden stay in because they think that he's going to win. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting. It's something to keep an eye on. Why so many Republicans want Biden to stay in? I think it's because they see him as a weak opponent and someone they could easily defeat come November. And it also breaks down demographically as well, which 54% of white and 55% of Hispanic voters think Biden should withdraw, while a majority of black voters, 65%, think he should not withdraw. And 60% of voters under 50 think Biden should withdraw, while 60% of voters over 60 think he should not. So it's kind of how it breaks down on age as well. And just for the sake of going over the poll, 88% of Republican primary voters think Trump should not withdraw, 12% think he should, 75% of Democratic voters think Trump should withdraw, 25% think they don't. Not a big surprise here. Republican voters mostly like Trump. Democratic voters mostly don't. Not too much to take away from here. Biden, there's definitely a lot more murkiness and kind of left to interpretation, left to own personal feelings about him than should Trump withdraw or not. So overall, that's pretty much the poll. 1,000 registered voters were polled. Margin of error plus or minus 3%. What does this say? Well, definitely things are very, very close, and this is a very close election that's going to go down to the wire. But right now, at this moment, it's hard to imagine that you'd not rather be Donald Trump than Joe Biden. Donald Trump is favored in pretty much every single swing state. A lot of Democratic states are trending a little bit more Republican, like Minnesota, Virginia, New Hampshire. They're polling better for Trump than at any point in 2020. There's no denying the fact that right now, you would much rather be Donald Trump than Joe Biden. And that's something the Biden campaign is going to have to seriously talk about, and why I think there's so much chatter about will Biden step aside, because unless something unforeseen happens, I don't see how Biden turns this around. Trump is on course right now to completely trounce Biden in November unless something drastically changes. So, and this poll absolutely shows that Trump is on his path, on his way to crushing Biden in the next election. So that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel so you get videos like this in the future from me. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in a future video.